The alarm sound filled the monitoring station. Zethkri looked up from his control panel with all four of his eyes. His green skin turned darker when he was worried. Right now it was very dark. "Unknown ship coming from human space," called out Vrex from across the room. The small blue alien was good at his job. He never missed anything on the sensors. Zethkri moved his long legs quickly to the main screen. His people looked like giant insects, but they were smart and good at talking to other species. That was why the Galactic Council put them in charge of first contact work. The ship on the screen was different from other human ships they had seen. It was bigger and looked like it was built for fighting. Dark metal covered its hull. Strange weapons stuck out from its sides. This was not a trade ship or exploration vessel. This was a warship. "Try to talk to them," Zethkri told his team. He pressed the buttons to send out the standard message. "Unknown vessel, this is Council Station Kepler 7. Please state your purpose and follow our entry rules." The answer came back fast. Too fast. Most ships took time to think about what to say. This one was ready. "Station Kepler 7, this is Captain Elena Vasquez of the UES Prometheus. We need to speak with the Galactic Council right away." "This is very important." Zethkri felt surprised. Humans almost never asked to talk to the Council. They usually kept to themselves in their small part of space. They traded sometimes, but they did not like big meetings or politics. "Captain Vasquez, what is the reason for your visit? We need to know before we can let you pass." There was a short wait, then the human woman spoke again. Her voice was calm, but Zethkri could hear something else in it. Fear? Worry? He was not sure. "We found something you need to know about, something bad. Something that puts everyone in danger." Vrex looked at Zethkri. The blue alien's big black eyes were full of questions. Zethkri did not have answers. "Can you tell us more about this discovery?" Zethkri asked. "Not over open channels. This needs to be said in person to the full council. Trust me, you want to hear this." Zethkri thought about it. Humans were strange, but they were not liars. When they said something was important, it usually was. But letting a warship come to the council station was not a small thing. "Captain, we need to follow the rules." "You must tell us something about why you are here." Another pause. This one was longer. When the human spoke again, her voice was different, harder. "Fine, we found proof that the Devourers are real, and they are waking up." The control room went very quiet. Zethkri felt his skin go from dark green to almost black. Vrex made a small sound of fear. The other workers stopped what they were doing. The Devourers were old stories. Very old. Every species in the galaxy had tales about them. Machines that ate everything. Worlds, ships, people. They came from the dark spaces between stars and left nothing behind. But they were just stories. Myths to scare children. "Captain Vasquez," Zethkri said slowly, "the Devourers are legend, old tales. No, they are not. We have proof. We have their ships, we have their technology, and we have evidence that they are starting to move again." Zethkri looked at his team. They all looked scared. If the humans were right, if the Devourers were real and coming back, then every living thing in the galaxy was in trouble. "We will contact the council," Zethkri said. "Please wait while we get permission for you to dock. Thank you. But hurry. We do not have much time." The call to the council chambers took 30 minutes. Zethkri had to explain everything 3 times. The council members were like him. They did not want to believe the old stories were true. But they agreed to meet with the human captain. "You may dock at Bay 7, Zethkri told the Prometheus. "The council will see you in 2 hours. Copy that. Prometheus coming in." Zethkri watched the human ship move toward the station. It was beautiful in a deadly way. Every line was made for speed and fighting. He could see guns that he did not recognize. The metal of the hull seemed to drink in light instead of reflecting it. "Has anyone seen a human ship like this before?" he asked his team. Vrex checked his files. "No, this is much more advanced than anything in our records. Look at these energy readings. Their reactor is putting out twice as much power as ships this size should be able to handle." That was interesting and worrying. How had humans built something so advanced without anyone knowing about it? The Prometheus docked with a soft bump. Through the station cameras, Zethkri watched the humans come out of their ship. There were 12 of them. All wore the same dark blue uniforms. All carried weapons. All moved like soldiers. Captain Vasquez was a tall woman with short black hair. Her skin was brown and her eyes were dark. She looked tired, like she had not slept in days. But she also looked determined. When she spoke to Zethkri, her voice was strong. "Thank you for letting us dock. I know this is unusual." "It is," Zethkri agreed. "The Council is very curious about your claims." "They should be. What I'm going to tell them will change everything." Zethkri led the humans through the station halls. Other aliens stopped to stare. Humans did not visit often, and when they did, they came in small groups. 12 armed humans was something new. The council chambers were huge. Representatives from 43 different species sat in a great circle. In the center was a small platform where speakers could stand. Captain Vasquez walked to the platform without fear. Her team spread out around the edges of the room. "Council members," Vasquez began. "I am Captain Elena Vasquez of the United Earth Space Navy. I am here to warn you about a threat that could destroy all of us." A tall, thin alien with purple skin stood up. This was Counselor Thex who spoke for the Rigel Union. "Captain, we have heard your claims about the Devourers. These are old stories, myths." "They are not myths," Vasquez said. Her voice carried across the big room. 3 months ago, our deep space explorers found a dead system in the outer rim. 12 planets, all stripped clean. No life, no atmosphere, no resources, just empty rocks. "Systems die," said another council member. "Stars burn out. Planets lose their air." "Not like this," Vasquez replied. "These planets were mined completely. Someone took everything and left perfect spheres of stone." But that was not the strange part. She pressed a button on a small device in her hand. A hologram appeared above the platform. It showed a massive structure floating in space. The thing was black and covered in spikes. It looked like a machine, but also like something alive. "We found this in the dead system, a Devourer ship, inactive but intact." The council chamber filled with worried voices. Some aliens stood up. Others made sounds of fear. Zethkri felt his skin go completely black. "We studied it," Vasquez continued. "We learned how it worked. And we found something else. The ship was not alone. There are thousands of them, sleeping in the dark spaces between galaxies. And according to our scans, they are starting to wake up." The chamber fell silent. Every eye was on the human captain. "How long do we have?" asked Counselor Thex. Captain Vasquez looked around the room. When she spoke, her words hit like hammer blows. "Based on our readings, the first ships will reach inhabited systems in 6 months, maybe less." Captain Vasquez touched her device again. The hologram changed to show a star map. Red dots appeared across the galaxy like a disease spreading. "These are the locations where we have detected Devourer ships," she said. "Each dot represents at least one dormant vessel. Some areas have hundreds." Counselor Thex stared at the map. His purple skin had gone pale. "This cannot be right. There are red marks near every major population center." "It is right," Vasquez said. "The Devourers did not leave our galaxy. They went to sleep. They have been waiting in the dark spaces between stars and dead systems in the empty void, waiting for us to rebuild." A short, furry alien jumped up from her seat. This was Counselor Yip from the Centauri Trade Federation. Her voice was high with panic. "Why would they wait? If they are machines designed to destroy, why not finish the job?" Vasquez looked at her with sad eyes. "Because they are smart. They learned from the last war. If they had kept attacking, they would have wiped out everything. No more food. More resources. No more civilizations to harvest." She changed the hologram again. Now it showed the galaxy as it was long ago. Many more stars were bright with life. Cities covered whole worlds. Ships filled the space lanes. This is what the galaxy looked like before the Devourers came the first time. Billions of worlds, trillions of people. The greatest civilizations the universe had ever seen. The image changed. The bright stars went dark one by one. The cities disappeared. The ships vanished. This is what they left behind. A few scared survivors hiding in the corners of space. It took 50,000 years for the galaxy to recover, for new species to evolve, for civilizations to grow again. Counselor Thex sat down heavily. And now we have grown enough to be worth harvesting again. Yes, Vasquez said. Our studies show that the Devourers have built-in sensors. When the galaxy reaches a certain level of technology, population, and resource production, they wake up. That level was reached 6 months ago. An alien that looked like a giant spider spoke from the back of the chamber. This was Counselor Webmaker from the Outer Rim Alliance. How do you know all this? How did humans learn so much from one dead ship? Vasquez smiled, but it was not a happy smile. Because humans are very good at taking things apart. We found the ship's memory banks. We cracked their data storage systems. We learned their language, and we discovered something that your ancestors never knew. She paused and looked around the room. Every alien was watching her. The Devourers were not born. They were made. Created. By a species very much like humans. A species that loved war and saw enemies everywhere. They built the Devourers to fight their battles, to destroy anyone who might threaten them. What happened to this species? Asked Webmaker. The Devourers turned on them, ate them first. Their creators made them too well, too hungry, too smart. The chamber filled with worried voices again. Aliens talked to each other in dozens of languages. Vasquez waited for them to quiet down. There is more, she said. The Devourers are not just machines. They learn. They adapt. Each time they wake up, they are smarter than before. They have studied us while they slept. They know our weaknesses. Counselor Yip stood up again. What do they want? Can we negotiate with them? No, Vasquez said. They do not want territory or resources in the way we think of them. They want everything, every atom of useful matter, every joule of energy. They will strip every world down to its core. They will take apart every star. They will consume everything and leave nothing but empty space. The silence that followed was terrible. Zethkri watched the council members look at each other with horror. Some were shaking. Others sat very still, like they were already dead. How do we fight them? Counselor Thex asked. Vasquez touched her device. The hologram showed battle scenes. From long ago, ancient ships firing weapons at dark, spiked vessels. The ancient ships exploded or simply disappeared. Your ancestors tried everything. Energy weapons, kinetic weapons, nuclear weapons, antimatter weapons, nothing worked. The Devourer ships phase in and out of normal space. Most attacks pass right through them. Then we are doomed, whispered Counselor Yip. Maybe, Vasquez said. Your ancestors were doomed because they did not understand what they were fighting. They thought the Devourers were aliens. Strange, but still following the same rules as other living things. They were wrong. She changed the hologram to show the inside of a Devourer ship. It was filled with strange machines and flowing energy. Patterns. The Devourers exist in multiple dimensions at once. That is why normal weapons cannot hurt them. But humans have found a way to hurt them. Every alien in the chamber leaned forward. How? Demanded Counselor Thex. We cannot tell you. That over open channels, Vasquez said, but we can show you. We can fight beside you. But we need your help. What kind of help? Asked Webmaker. Ships, soldiers, resources. This will not be an easy fight. Many of us will die, maybe all of us. But if we work together, we might have a chance. Counselor Thex stood up. The Rigel Union will need time to discuss this with our member worlds. We cannot make such a decision quickly. Other council members nodded. They began talking about committees and studies and votes. Vasquez listened for a few minutes. Then she held up her hand for silence. You do not have time for long discussions, she said. While you debate, the Devourers are waking up. Every day you wait is a day they get stronger. But this is a big decision, protested Counselor Yip. We need to think about it. We need to plan. Think quickly, Vasquez said. Plan quickly. Because ready or not, they are coming. She touched her device one more time. The hologram showed space near the galactic rim. As they watched, dark shapes began to move. Ships that had been sleeping for 50,000 years were starting to wake. Our long-range sensors detected the first movement 3 days ago, Vasquez said. Small ships at first, scouts, they are testing their systems and checking on the galaxy's current state. On the hologram, the dark shapes began to group together. Soon there were dozens of them, then hundreds. How long before they attack? Asked Counselor Vex. Weeks, maybe months for the first targets. The outer rim worlds will be hit first. They always start at the edges and work their way in. It gives them time to build their strength and learn about current defenses. Which worlds will they hit? First? Webmaker asked. Vasquez highlighted several star systems on the edge of the galaxy. These are the most likely targets. High population, good resources, but far from the major military bases. Zethkri recognized some of the systems. Millions of aliens lived there. Families, children, whole civilizations that had never heard of the Devourers. We have to warn them, he said. Warn them to do what? Vasquez asked. Run? There is nowhere to run? Hide? The Devourers can track life signs across light years. Fight? With what? You have seen how well conventional weapons work against them. The council chamber fell quiet again. The aliens looked at each other with fear and desperation. So what do? We do? Counselor Yip asked in a small voice. Vasquez looked around the room. When she spoke, her voice was hard as steel. We do what humans do best. We fight. We adapt. We find a way to win, no matter what it costs. She started walking toward the exit. Her team fell in behind her. Wait, called Counselor Vex. Where are you going? Vasquez stopped and turned back. To prepare for war, with or without your help. Humans will not go quietly into the dark. She left the chamber. Her team followed. The aliens sat in stunned silence, staring at the hologram. That still showed the Devourer ships moving through space. Outside in the hallway, Zethkri caught up with the human captain. Captain Vasquez, he called. Wait, she stopped and looked at him. Yes? Are you really going to fight them alone if the council says no? Her smile was fierce and terrible. Absolutely. Humans have never been good at surrender. But you will. Luz, you said yourself that normal weapons do not work. I said normal weapons do not work, she replied. I did not say human weapons do not work. Before Zethkri could ask what she meant, Captain Vasquez and her team were gone, heading back to their ship. The first attack came 3 weeks later. The mining world of Kepler 438b went silent during its morning shift change. One moment, the orbital stations were reporting normal operations. The next moment, there was nothing. Zethkri watched the emergency. Reports come in from his station. His skin had been dark green for days now. Ever since Captain Vasquez left, he had felt afraid. The council was still debating what to do. They formed committees and subcommittees. They asked for more studies. They argued about costs and risks. Meanwhile, the Devourers were waking up. Sir, called Vrex from his console. We are getting reports from the Rigel system. 3 worlds have lost contact with their orbital defenses. Zethkri moved to look at the tactical display. Red markers were appearing across the rim worlds. Each marker meant a world that had gone silent. A world where millions of aliens had lived and worked and raised families. How many ships do we have in that area? He asked. The Rigel Defense Fleet has 47 vessels, Vrex replied. They are moving to investigate the lost colonies. Put me through to Admiral Kekstar. Zethkri ordered. The main screen flickered to show the bridge of a Rigel command ship. Admiral. Kekstar was a tall, purple-skinned alien with 4 arms and silver eyes. He looked calm, but Zethkri could see tension in the way he held his shoulders. Station Kepler 7, the Admiral said. We are investigating the communications blackout. Initial scans show no signs of battle. No signs of battle, Zethkri repeated. What do you mean? No debris, no energy signatures from weapons fire. Number. Distress signals. The colonies are simply gone. As if they never existed, a cold feeling spread through Zethkri's chest. Admiral, you need to be very careful. The human captain warned us about this. Admiral Kekstar's expression hardened. I do not need warnings from humans, station officer. My fleet can handle any threat. The connection ended. Zethkri stared at the empty screen, feeling helpless. 2 hours later, the Rigel defense fleet found the enemy. Emergency transmission from Admiral Kekstar, Rex announced. His blue skin had gone pale. The screen showed chaos. The bridge of the Admiral's ship was shaking. Sparks flew from damaged consoles. In the background, Zethkri could hear alarms and shouting. All stations, Admiral Kekstar was saying. We are under attack by unknown vessels. Our weapons are having no effect? I repeat, our weapons are having no effect. The camera view shifted to show the main display on the Admiral's bridge. In space outside, dark shapes moved like hungry shadows. They were huge, covered in spikes and strange geometries that hurt to look at. The Devourer ships. Fire everything, the Admiral ordered. All weapons maximum power. Zethkri watched the Rigel ships pour fire at their enemies. Energy beams, missile barrages, kinetic rounds. The weapons passed through the dark ships like they were made of smoke. But when the Devourers fired back, their weapons were very real. Beams of sickly green light reached out and touched the Rigel vessels. Where the beams hit, the ships simply stopped existing. No explosion, no debris. They were just gone. Fall back, Admiral Kekstar shouted. All ships fall back. But it was too late. The Devourer ships moved faster than anything Zethkri had ever seen. They flowed through space like liquid darkness, surrounding the fleeing Rigel fleet, one by one. The defense. Ships disappeared, their signals cut off in mid-transmission. Their energy signatures vanished from the sensors. Admiral Kekstar's ship was the last to go. The Admiral looked directly into the camera as his bridge filled with green light. Tell the Council, he said. Tell them the humans were right. Tell them we should have listened. The transmission ended. Zethkri stood frozen at his console. 47 ships. Thousands of trained soldiers. Gone in less than an hour. Sir, Rex said quietly, we are getting similar reports from 12 other systems. Defense fleets are being destroyed everywhere. The tactical display updated. More red markers appeared. Whole sectors of space were going dark. Get me the council chambers, Zethkri ordered. The connection took several minutes. When it finally came through, Zethkri could see that the council was an emergency session. Aliens were shouting at each other in dozens of languages. Some were packing up to leave, others sat in stunned silence. Council members, Zethkri called out. I have urgent reports from the front lines. Counselor Thex noticed him on the screen. Station Officer Zethkri, what is your status? The Rigel defense fleet has been destroyed. Admiral Kekstar is dead. 12 other systems have lost contact with their defense forces. The Devourers are advancing faster than we expected. The chamber fell quiet. All eyes turned to the screen. How fast are they moving? Asked Counselor Yip. Current projections show they will reach the core worlds in 6 months, maybe less. Counselor Webmaker spoke from the back of the chamber. What about the human ship, the Prometheus? Can we contact them? They left 3 days ago, Zethkri replied. Captain Vasquez said they were returning to human space to prepare for war. We need to call them back, Counselor Thex said. We need their help. I will try to reach them, Zethkri promised, but when he tried to contact the Prometheus, there was no answer. The human ship had disappeared into the vast darkness of space. Over the next week, the situation got worse. More defense fleets were destroyed, more worlds went silent. The Devourers moved through space like a plague, consuming everything in their path. The alien governments tried to evacuate their core worlds, but there was nowhere safe to go. The Devourers were everywhere. They moved faster than the evacuation ships. They found the hidden colonies and the secret bases. Panic spread through the galaxy. Trade stopped. Communication networks went down. Civilizations that had existed for thousands of years began to collapse in fear. Zethkri worked around the clock, trying to coordinate the defense efforts. But it was hopeless. Every strategy failed. Every weapon was useless. The Devourers adapted to everything the aliens threw at them. "Sir," Vrex said during one of their emergency meetings, "I am picking up something strange on the long-range sensors." "What kind of strange?" Zethkri asked. He was too tired to be afraid anymore. "Human ships. Lots of them. They are moving toward the main Devourer fleet." Zethkri looked at the tactical display. His 4 eyes went wide. Hundreds of ships were moving through space. They were smaller than the big alien warships, but there were so many of them. And they were moving fast. Very fast. "Are you sure they are human ships?" he asked. "The energy signatures match human technology," Vrex replied. "But they are different somehow, more powerful." Zethkri watched the human fleet advance toward certain death. "Brave fools," he whispered. "They are going to get themselves killed." But as he watched, something unexpected happened. The human ships reached the Devourer fleet and opened fire. Their weapons were different from anything Zethkri had seen before. Instead of energy beams or missiles, they fired some kind of strange, twisting energy that looked like liquid fire, and the Devourers screamed. It was a sound that came through space itself. A horrible noise that made every alien in the monitoring station cover their ears. The sound of machines in pain. "How is this possible?" Vrex whispered. On the display, the Devourer ships were trying to phase out of normal space. But the human weapons followed them. The liquid fire burned through dimensions, hurting the ancient machines in ways they had never been hurt before. For the first time in 50,000 years, Devourer ships were dying. The battle raged for hours. Human ships darted between the massive Devourer vessels like angry insects. They were faster and more maneuverable than anything the Devourers had faced before. When a human ship was destroyed, 2 more took its place, and slowly, impossibly, the humans were winning. "Sir," Vrex said, his voice full of wonder, "I am getting a transmission from the human fleet." The screen flickered to show the bridge of a human command ship. The captain was a woman with gray hair and scars on her face. She looked tired but determined. "This is Admiral Sarah Chun of the Human Defense Force," she said. "To all alien vessels receiving this transmission, stay away from the combat zone. We have this under control." "Admiral Chun," Zethkri called out. "This is Station Kepler 7. How are you hurting them?" "Our weapons had no effect." Admiral Chun smiled grimly. "Humans are very good at learning from their enemies. We studied their technology. We found their weaknesses. And we built weapons that can kill gods." "What do you need from us?" Zethkri asked. "Nothing," Chun replied. "Just stay out of our way. This is what humans do. We fight the monsters that other people cannot fight." The transmission ended. Zethkri watched the battle continue on his screens. The human fleet was taking heavy losses, but they kept fighting. Every time a human ship was destroyed, the aliens could hear the crew shouting defiance over the radio before the signal cut to static. "They are insane," Vrex whispered. "Yes, Zethkri." "Agreed, and thank the stars for that." The transmission from Earth Command came during the middle of the battle. Admiral Chen was on the bridge of her flagship, watching her ships fight the Devourers, when her communications officer called out, "Admiral, priority message from home. It is marked urgent." "Put it through," Chun said, not taking her eyes off the tactical display. The message was from Admiral Harrison, the head of Earth's military forces. His face appeared on a small screen next to Chun's command chair. He looked grim but pleased. "Sarah, how is the fight going out there?" "We are hurting them," Chun replied. "The hybrid weapons work. But we are taking heavy losses. These things adapt fast." "Good. That is what we expected. Listen carefully, Sarah. It is time to tell the galaxy what we really are." Shun felt a cold smile cross her face. "Are you sure? Once we show them everything, there will be no going back. The Devourers are awake. The old galaxy is already dead. It is time for the new one to be born." The transmission ended. Jun turned to her crew. Open a channel to all alien vessels and stations. Full broadcast. Make sure everyone can hear this. Channel open, Admiral. Jun stood up straight and looked into the main camera. When she spoke, her voice carried across the galaxy. This is Admiral Sarah Chun of the Human Defense Force. I'm speaking to all alien civilizations receiving this signal. It is time you knew the truth about humanity. On Station Kepler 7, Zethkri watched the transmission with growing amazement. Around the galaxy, millions of aliens stopped what they were doing to listen. 3 months ago, Captain Vasquez came to your council with a warning about the Devourers. She told you we had found one of their ships. She told you we had studied it. What she did not tell you was the whole truth. Chun gestured toward the battle raging outside her ship. Human vessels darted between massive Devourer hulks. They're strange. Weapons tearing apart machines that had been invincible for 50,000 years. We did not find one Devourer ship, we found 17. We did not just study them, we took them apart piece by piece. We learned how they worked, we learned how they thought, and we learned how to kill them. The camera view switched to show scenes from human space. Massive shipyards floated around Earth and her colonies, but these were not normal shipyards. The ships being built there were dark and angular, covered in the same strange spikes and geometries as Devourer vessels. For 6 months, we have been preparing for this war. We have built weapons that exist in multiple dimensions. We have created ships that can phase in and out of normal space. We have taken Devourer technology and made it better. Zethkri felt his skin go completely black. The humans had not just learned to fight the Devourers. They had become like them. But that is not the most important thing we learned, Chun continued. The most important thing was understanding what the Devourers really are. They are not aliens. They are not even truly alive. They are weapons, created by a species that no longer exists. The view changed again. Now it showed ancient records that the humans had pulled from Devourer memory banks. Images of a world covered in cities. A people who looked almost like humans, but with pale skin and large eyes. This species called themselves the Architects. They were builders, creators, dreamers, but they were also afraid. They saw enemies everywhere. Every other species was a threat to be destroyed or controlled. The images showed the Architects at work, building the first Devourer machines. Small ones at first, designed to clear asteroids and mine dead worlds, but fear made them build bigger ones, hungrier ones. The Architects created the Devourers to fight their wars for them, to destroy anyone who might threaten their perfect civilization. But perfect weapons do not distinguish between enemies and creators. The Devourers consumed the Architects first, then moved on to the rest of the galaxy. Chun appeared on screen again. Behind her, the battle continued. Human ships were dying, but the Devourers were dying too. We learned something else from the Architect records. The Devourers were programmed with one basic rule: survive and grow. They would sleep when there was nothing left to consume, then wake when the galaxy was full of life again. This cycle has repeated itself 4 times over the last 200,000 years. Counselor Thex, watching from the council chambers, felt his purple skin go pale. 4 times? Each time, the surviving species managed to destroy most of the Devourers before they themselves were wiped out. But some machines always escaped. They went into the dark spaces between galaxies to repair and wait. Each time they returned, they were smarter and stronger. Chun walked to her tactical display. It showed the current battle, but also something else. Other human fleets moving through space, engaging Devourer groups across dozens of star systems. This is the 5th awakening, and this time they face humans. The view switched to show the human home system. Earth hung in space like a blue jewel, but it was surrounded by orbital fortresses and defense platforms. Ships moved between the planets in formations that hurt to look at. Humans are not like the species that faced the Devourers before. We do not build great cities and dream of peace. We do not create art and philosophy and hope for a better tomorrow. We are a young species born from a world that tried to kill us every day. We learn to fight before we learn to think. We learn to adapt before we learn to dream. Zethkri watched human soldiers working on their ships. They moved with efficiency and purpose, checking weapons that seemed to be part machine and part living tissue. Every other species in this galaxy evolved on worlds that were kind to them. Worlds with gentle weather and abundant food. You learned to cooperate because cooperation made you stronger. You learned to build because building made you safer. The view changed to show Earth as it had been millions of years ago. Ice covered most of the continents. Massive predators roamed the land. Volcanoes filled the sky with ash. Humans evolved on a world that wanted us dead. We learned to fight because everything else on our planet was trying to eat us. We learned to make weapons because weapons were the only thing that kept us alive. We learned to kill because killing was how we survived. Chun appeared on screen again. Her smile was fierce and terrible. The Devourers think they are the ultimate predators, but they have never met real predators. They have never faced a species that was born to hunt. On the tactical display, the battle was turning, more Devourer ships were dying. The ancient machines were starting to retreat, something they had never done before. Right now, human fleets are engaging Devourer forces in 47 star systems. We are not defending. We are not hiding. We are hunting. Every Devourer ship, every Devourer base, every piece of Devourer technology will be found and destroyed. Counselor Yip spoke up from the council chambers. But what about us? What about our civilizations? Chun looked directly into the camera. You will survive, most of you. The Devourers wanted to consume everything, but humans are more selective. We will destroy the machines and spare the people. But the galaxy that emerges from this war will be different. Different how? Counselor Webmaker. Stronger, harder, ready for the next threat. Because there will always be a next threat. The universe is full of dangers that civilized species cannot handle, but humans can handle them. The transmission began to break up. The battle around Chun's ship was getting more intense. Explosions lit up space like brief stars. This is the last message you will receive from human forces for a while, Chun said. We have work to do. When it is finished, we will contact you again. Until then, stay in your home systems. Stay safe. Let us do what we do best. The screen went black. Across the galaxy, aliens sat in stunned silence, trying to understand what they had just learned. On Station Kepler 7, Rex looked at Zethkri with wide, frightened eyes. Sir, are the humans our saviors or our conquerors? Zethkri thought about the question for a long time. He thought about the Devourer ships dying in space. He thought about Admiral Chun's terrible smile. He thought about Captain Vasquez and her warning that had gone unheeded. I do not know, he finally said. But I think we are about to find out. In space, the battle continued. Human ships fought with a savagery that shocked even the Devourers. When their weapons ran out, they rammed enemy vessels. When their ships were crippled, they set them to self-destruct and took as many enemies with them as possible. The humans fought like they had nothing to lose and everything to prove. They fought like a species that had been born in hell and trained in war. They fought like humans. For 3 months, the galaxy burned. Zethkri watched the war from his station, tracking the movements of human fleets as they hunted Devourer ships across the stars. The reports that came in were like nothing he had ever seen. Battles that lasted. For days, entire star systems turned into war zones. Ancient machines that had ruled the darkness for 50,000 years, dying by the thousands. The humans fought everywhere at once. They appeared in the deep void where Devourer ships slept. They attacked the massive harvester vessels that were stripping distant worlds. They hunted down the smaller scout ships that tried to escape. Sir, Vrex called from his console. New report from the Vega sector. Task Force Hammer has destroyed another Devourer base. Zethkri looked at the tactical display. Green markers showed where human forces had won victories. There were hundreds of them now, scattered across the galaxy stars. Any word from Admiral Chan's group? He asked. No, sir. Radio silence for the past week. Last report showed them moving toward the galactic core. That worried Zethkri. Admiral Chun's fleet was hunting the biggest prize of all, the Devourer command ship, a massive vessel that controlled all the other machines. If they could destroy it, the war would be over, but no one had heard from Chun's task force in 7 days. Keep monitoring, Zethkri ordered. Let me know the moment you pick up anything. The days passed slowly. Reports continued to come in from human fleets across the galaxy. Victory after victory. The Devourers were being destroyed faster than anyone had thought possible, but there was still no word from Admiral Chun. Sir, Vrex said on the 10th day, I am picking up a transmission. It is very weak, but I think it is from Admiral Chun's ship. Put it through, Zethkri ordered. The main screen flickered with static. Slowly, an image formed. It was the bridge of Chin's flagship, but it looked wrong. The walls were cracked. Sparks flew from broken consoles. Emergency lights cast everything. In red shadows, Admiral Chun appeared on screen. Her gray hair was messy. Her uniform was torn. Blood ran down her face from a cut on her forehead. But her eyes were bright with fierce joy. This is Admiral Chun, she said. Her voice was rough, like she had been shouting for hours. Task Force Alpha has located the primary target. We are beginning our final approach. Zethkri leaned forward. Admiral, what is your status? We have not heard from you in 10 days, Chun smiled grimly. We have been busy. The command ship was hidden in the void, a dead region near the galactic core. It took us a week to track it down. Another 3 days to fight through its escorts. How many ships do you have left? Zethkri asked. Enough, Chun replied. The command ship is massive, bigger than a small moon, but we found its weakness. Like all Devourer vessels, it exists in multiple dimensions. But the command center has to stay in normal space to coordinate the other ships. We are going to ram it. Zethkri felt his skin go dark with horror. Admiral, that is suicide. Yes, Chun agreed. But it will work. The command ship controls every Devourer in the galaxy. Destroy it, and they all shut down. The war ends. There. Has to be another way, Zethkri protested. Chun shook her head. We tried everything else. Our weapons can hurt it, but not destroy it. It is too big, too well protected. The only way to kill it is from the inside. The image on the screen shook, as Chin's ship took fire from unseen enemies. We are starting our final run, Chun said. All human vessels, this is Admiral Chun. Follow me in. For Earth, for humanity. For every living thing in this galaxy. The transmission quality got worse. Static filled the screen. But Zethkri could still see Chun standing on her damaged bridge, directing her fleet toward their target. Sir, Vrex said quietly, I am reading massive energy signatures from the galactic core. The command ship is fighting back. On screen, Chun's bridge was shaking. Harder. Consoles exploded, crew members were thrown to the floor. But the Admiral stayed standing, one hand gripping her command chair. Contact with target confirmed, she reported. All ships prepare for ramming speed. Zethkri watched in amazement as the human fleet charged toward certain death. Dozens of ships, all that remained of Chun's task force, flying straight at an enemy that could destroy worlds. Admiral? He called out. Can you hear me? Chun looked toward the camera. Her face was bloody and exhausted, but she was still smiling. I can hear you, station officer. Tell the galaxy what happened here. Tell them that humans kept their promise. What promise? Zethkri asked. That we would fight the monsters that others cannot fight. The transmission began breaking up badly. Through the static, Zethkri could see Chun's ship approaching something huge and dark. The command ship filled the entire view screen, covered in spikes and weapons and strange geometries that hurt to look at. All ships, this is Chun, the Admiral. Sighed, impact in 30 seconds. It has been an honor serving with you all. The human ships around her were dying. Beams of green light reached out from the command ship and made them disappear. But Chun's flagship kept flying forward, its engines glowing white-hot. 15 seconds, Chun reported. 10 seconds, 5 seconds. Zethkri held his breath. Contact! The screen went white, then black, then static. For a long moment there was nothing. No signals from the galactic core. No reports from other human fleets. Just silence. Then Vrex spoke up, his voice full of wonder. "Sir, I am reading massive explosions in the core region. Energy patterns are off the charts, the tactical display updated. Where the command ship had been, there was now only expanding debris, but more importantly, all across the galaxy, the red markers that showed active devourer ships were going dark. They did it," Zethkri whispered. "They actually did it." "Sir," Vrex said, "I am getting reports from all sectors. Devourer ships are shutting down everywhere. The machines are going dormant." Zethkri watched the display as marker after marker went dark. In minutes, the entire Devourer fleet was offline. After 50,000 years, the ancient machines were truly dead, but the victory had come at a terrible cost. "Any word from Admiral Jones' task force?" he asked, though he already knew the answer. "No, sir. No survivors. They are all gone." Zethkri stood quietly for a moment, thinking about the humans who had died to save the galaxy. Admiral Chen and her crew, Captain Vasquez and her warnings. Thousands of human soldiers who had fought and died against impossible odds. "Sir," Vrex said, "I am getting a transmission from the remaining human fleets." The screen showed a different human ship. The captain was a young man with short brown hair and tired eyes. "This is Captain Rodriguez of the UES Defiance. I'm taking command of all human forces. The war is over. The Devourers are defeated." "Captain," Zethkri said, "we want to thank you. Your people saved us all." Rodriguez nodded slowly. "That is what we do. But the cost was high. We lost 60% of our fleet." "Good people died to win this war. They will be remembered," Zethkri promised. "I hope so," Rodriguez replied, "because this is not the end. The universe is full of dangers. There will be other threats. Other wars to fight. Will humanity be ready?" Rodriguez smiled grimly. "We are always ready. It is what we are." The transmission ended. Zethkri looked at the tactical display one more time. The galaxy was safe. The Devourers were gone. But he knew that Captain Rodriguez was right. There would be other threats, and when they came, humanity would be waiting, in the months that followed. The galaxy slowly returned to normal. Trade resumed. Communications were restored. The great civilizations began to rebuild, but things were different now. Everyone knew about the humans, about what they were capable of, about what they had done. Some aliens feared them, others respected them. Many did both. The council met again, in the same chambers where Captain Vasquez had first warned them about the Devourers. This time there was an empty chair, a place of honor for humanity. "Should we invite them to join the council?" asked Counselor Thex. "I do not think they would come," replied Counselor Yip. "Humans do not seem interested in politics." Counselor Webmaker spoke from the back of the chamber. "What are they interested in?" Zethkri, who had been invited to speak about his experiences during the war, stood up slowly. "Fighting," he said. "They are interested in fighting. Not for conquest or glory, but because someone has to. Because the universe is dangerous, and most of us are not equipped to handle that danger. So what do we do?" asked Counselor Thex. Zethkri thought about Admiral Chun's last transmission. About the scream that had echoed across space as she died. About the humans who had charged into certain death to save people they had never met. "We let them do what they do best," he said finally. "We let them stand guard at the edge of darkness. And we hope we never need them again." But even as he said it, Zethkri knew they would need them again. The universe was vast and full of mysteries. Somewhere out there, other ancient evils were stirring. Other threats were growing, and when they came, humanity would be ready. That's what they do.